attendees are in listen-only.
Welcome everybody to this 10-minute podcast where I'm going to share with you a few of my experiences of working as a school business manager and being responsible for leading and managing a development project. To help you understand my role, I will take a few moments to describe the context of my school, as this will help you to understand the nature of my role. I'm a school business manager in a two-form entry primary academy, where over 60% of the children have English as an additional language. The eligibility for free school meals is approximately 25%. There are 420 pupils and 80 staff, and other initiatives we are involved in are: we are a lead school for a National Teaching School Alliance. We are also a national support school and a provider of school-based initial teacher training. This is otherwise known as SCIT. As you can imagine, the role and responsibilities are very varied. I thought I would reflect on the refurbishment of some classrooms to provide accommodation for our new school-centred initial teacher training facility, which I will refer to as SCIT from now on. This facility is to accommodate 20 trainees who, instead of going to university to undertake their training to gain qualified teacher status, they will join our SCIT and train in local schools 4 days a week and meet once a week at our school for classroom-based training. Their training takes place over the whole of an academic year. The key concepts and techniques I have had to ensure have been used are team leadership, so that I ensure that when the project is finished, that it has been completed on time, within budget, and meets all of the needs of the SCIT trainees and staff. There have been numerous stakeholders I've had to involve, and these have included the SCIT manager, the local authority legal department, numerous contractors, and other staff who had wanted to use the rooms for the immediate benefit of pupils and staff at the school. The rooms had been used until recently by the local authority and were not transferred to the school when we became an academy 4 years ago. So this meant I had to liaise closely with the local authority and the Secretary of State's office to secure an additional lease which had to be signed before any of the refurbishment work could take place. To get the lease signed took approximately 8 months, which was longer than I and anybody else had thought. So all future work on the project had to be adjusted accordingly. This meant I had to manage the expectations of the SCIT manager, as well as liaise with the contractors to guide, coordinate and structure how they were all going to work alongside each other to get the facility refurbished in time and for the start of the new academic year. It can be quite challenging to manage contractors, so I had to clearly clarify the working methods to be used and detail clearly the specification of the refurbishment work. Through past experience, I have learned that you should never assume anything, and it is always better to check and double-check everybody's understanding so that everyone is clear as the project gets underway. To ensure that this was achieved, I made sure that communication and organisation was clearly stated by having a series of meetings which became more frequent as the project progressed. I held initial planning meetings with the SCIT manager to ensure that the plans being developed were exactly what was required. It was no good refurbishing these rooms to what I thought was needed. It was therefore vital to get this very detailed level of specification from the key end users of the facility. As soon as the project scope had been agreed and the level of specification had been agreed, the meetings then changed to, instead of being myself and the SCIT manager, it was myself and the contractors, leaving the SCIT manager to concentrate on her current trainees. I used a Gantt chart to plot out the key tasks, dates and milestones. and I assigned clear roles and responsibilities to all of the contractors involved. At the final planning meeting, I delegated and negotiated what I believed to be the main responsibilities and tasks to get the project completed. Some of the meetings with the contractors did not go as smoothly as I would have liked, as I felt at times they were trying to use technical jargon to explain why particular tasks could not be completed when I was suggesting. It was also quite challenging getting commitment from some contractors to complete the work on a set date or a defined week, as they did not plan their work schedules that far in advance. The key skills I needed to achieve what I wanted was to listen, negotiate hard, and reach acceptable compromises so that the project would be completed on time and in budget. It is vital with large-scale projects that methods of communication are clearly understood so that misunderstandings can be avoided. I therefore would use my online calendar to invite everyone to meetings so that I had a record of who I had invited, when, and I could monitor their response to the invites and take appropriate action if required. 2 days before each meeting, I would email an agenda for the meeting which provided a structure of how it was going to take place, and everyone was then clear what the objectives of each meeting were going to be. During the meetings, I would make notes on what was discussed, action points that were agreed, and the names of individuals who were responsible for actioning these. I very quickly realised that I needed to agree dates for actions to be completed by, otherwise I found we would be having the next meeting and actions were still not completed and excuses were provided instead. I carried out my role with professionalism, and very soon I had everyone involved working as a team, with each member aware of their role and responsibilities. As the project progressed, I added a regular item on the agenda of each meeting, and this was resource monitoring, so that everyone was clear on how the project resources were actually being deployed against the budgeted resources. Communication and strong leadership were essential to keeping everything on track, and as soon as any significant variances were discovered, I had to take the corrective action. Each team member was aware of what tasks had been delegated to them and what decisions, if any, they were able to make without speaking to myself. This was really important, as with so many other school business manager tasks taking up my time, I had to be able to trust and respect that other team members could make the correct decisions without me being involved. The Gantt chart was displayed on a notice board so that all team members were aware of the goals and milestones, and they could refer to it, and all involved knew that I was available if they had a major problem. But otherwise, day-to-day decisions could be taken by them. This method encouraged collaboration and participation and problem solving, and only if new risks were discovered would I be involved. Everything else would then wait until the next progress meeting. I hope that this has been useful to you in regards to leading and managing developing projects. I have learned that as a school business manager, never assume anything and always provide strong leadership. I aim for my team to play a full and active part in any decisions that are required, but it is never that easy. And that is part of the reason why I love the challenge of being a school business manager. Thank you for listening.